All right. Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock, Thursday, September 18th, 2025. I will call this meeting of the Board of Harbor Commissioners for the town of LaPointe to order. With us this morning, we have Mary Ross.
Present.
Joseph Wiltz.
Present.
Susan Widmar.
Here.
Michael Collins.
Here.
Evan Erickson.
Here.
Myself. And Glenn Carlson.
Here.
Staff present. Laura Berteau, Katie Kisner. From Miffle, we have Robin Russell. First up on the agenda is public comment. Take it away.
I was just wondering, you've been running the ferry for a year and a half. Wondering if there's going to be a presentation to the townspeople about this, like the State of the Union, State of the Ferry, how we're doing on ridership, revenue, things like that. Before the town bought the ferry, there was a lot more information coming out in meetings. Right now, it's just in this type of meeting. I was wondering if there's going to be a presentation to the townspeople. That's in the future.
I think that's a great idea that we'll consider. Anything else for public comment? Let's move on then to the minutes of the September 4th meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes of Thursday, September 4th with two tiny amendments.
Okay.
Robin Trinko Russell, the O is missing on item number 3 and item number 13F.
And the second L on 13F also.
That was a test and you passed.
I'd also like to add on item number 7 that the discussion on the cost of running a late boat, $1,500, it's discussion on the estimated actual cost of running. That's not a solid $1,500. We don't have those numbers.
On the estimated cost.
Estimated actual cost, yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing else. I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda, the minutes as presented,
Amended.
as amended. Yes, you're right. I meant to say that.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say that these are going to be, these are wonderful minutes. And I think whoever's going to be doing them in the future is going to have a high bar.
I agree.
Here.
Did you vote?
No.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up then is Chief Administrative Officer report.
So I have the current balance of the Harbor Commission bank accounts. This was open Tuesday the 16th. Our Miffle utility checking account was at $607,519.49. We did, since the last meeting, we did make one transfer. And that was just kind of from our idle funds from our checking account to our savings account. I do have another transfer form ready today that we'll be making basically, so all that money is not just sitting in our checking account.
So it's to move it to an interest-bearing account.
Our savings account, yeah.
Both
Both of our checking or both of our savings account have the same interest. September revenue as of Tuesday was just under $389,000, which is about just under 50% of our budget for budgeted income for the month. So we are pretty much right on track for what we do have in the budget. I've also included August reports because our August expenses are to be approved later in the meeting today. Nothing out of the ordinary to report for that. Did anybody have any questions about any of those reports?
have one question, Katie, and I don't know if this is something that we can ask Miffle to include in their monthly report, or if it's something that you need to add. But they are reporting the monthly traffic
Mhm.
numbers. I'm wondering if we could get, in addition to, like, in this month's report, they have the August 2025 line of, 69,660 adults. I'm wondering if, to me, it would be a lot more interesting if they could have another row underneath that to show what the August 2024 amount was.
Year prior.
And
But
then,
I'd go 2 years. I'd love to see 2 years.
okay, 2 years, and then year to date also. So not just
That's
for
great.
August, but year to date for 25, 24, and 23, then I guess, if that's possible. I know we have pretty good records because we've been getting these reports now for over a year. We definitely have the 24s. Again, if it's something that Miffle can easily add to their report, that's great. But if not, if you could provide that comparison in your report, that would be super. Thank you.
Absolutely. Next I had, basically the letter response from the Bayfield Harbor Commission. And this was in regards to the letter that, Steve Bears and Miffle sent on behalf of the Town of Low Point Harbor Commission regarding the $2 head tax. As it stands, this was sent to Steve Bears. And so Robin said that he is going to be working on a response to this. So that is in the works at the moment, unless we would like to do something otherwise.
Well, I'd like to propose, and I've read Steve's letter and the response from the Bayfield Harbor Commission. I think that the Bayfield Harbor Commission has a pretty strong argument. And really what Steve's really getting down to is, okay, tell us how much of this $2 is going for police protection, how much of it is going for snow plowing, how much of it is going for, road leading to the dock over there. Frankly, I think that those are all factual questions. I think that the law is on the side of the Bayfield Harbor Commission, that if they have these reasonable expenses that we should be, they should be allowed to charge a reasonable amount. On top of that, let's remember that when the Harbor Commission took over the real estate on the Bayfield side, the city of Bayfield lost all of that property tax. And we are not currently reimbursing them, nor do I think are we planning to reimburse them for that. I do think it's important for us, maybe even more important than when it was a private company, for us as a town, a fellow municipality, to have good relations with the city of Bayfield. I have noticed on a few occasions when the ferry line traffic is backed up all the way to Highway 13, that there are usually a couple of the police officers from the city of Bayfield directing traffic. And so I would like to propose that we not spend any more money fighting this question, and that we begin to honor the request from the Bayfield Harbor Commission.
Do they charge, it sounds like they're getting at that the ferry comes in and out of the harbor. It's not so much that they land on private property, which the ferry line owns.
It's not that it's the Rittenhouse.
Right, I know that.
Yeah, okay.
We own that dock.
Right.
In Bayfield, on
Okay.
the old harbor.
Yeah, it's the old.
So when John Q. Public and his family come in and dock at the city dock for 2 hours, are they getting hit with this fee?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, well, if it's a
I
private,
dock there all the time and we don't pay.
Yeah.
if it's a private boat, you don't pay the fee.
Pardon?
If it's private, you don't pay, but if you're for hire,
Okay,
then that's where they want the $2 a head.
So the sailing charters all pay it, the
Yeah.
fishing charters all
The
pay it.
posting is there and the money collection box is there.
No, that's for overnight docking. That's not.
That's for
just dock
transient
there.
docks.
Well, it's transient docking for 4 hours.
No, it's only 6.
But the $2 a head is for anyone who is for charter,
Got it.
and their passengers.
Mhm.
Robin, you had a comment?
Yeah, I would say, I'm not a lawyer, but I would say, this is federal law, okay? This, this has to do with if I had a bridge that I could charge. That's interfering with interstate commerce. I would say you do not want to pay it, it's not gonna be that much. Donate money to them for something else. That'd be the better way. It was because of the ferry line documentation that they got the cap money to rebuild their dock over there. And we never got a dime, they never volunteered to do anything for that landing. So they got millions of dollars based on our data. There's no other commercial traffic over there that's significant enough to get $50. So that's just my opinion, and I'm sure Stephen Burns would echo that.
My stand, by my statement that I would like to not see us spend any more money on legal fees on this matter.
How much money are we talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I mean, if it's gonna be under 10 grand a year, I mean. Not many passengers really go on through that dock
Well, it
typically.
all depends on the weather.
Yeah, weather, but
And if the dock project is going on in the new harbor.
Talking about?
I gather it's under 10,000 a year.
I do agree with you. Just on the legal expenses alone.
On the goodwill,
Goodwill.
I think
Yeah.
that that's.
I think that's as important as anything else.
Oftentimes lawyers don't take that into account.
Sure.
So has Stephen Burrs already sent out a reply?
Do you have any idea?
Got it, but this is case law, and this would set a precedent for the entire United States. That all other ferries could be charged a head tax if it's just for the garbage cans, okay? So. We're talking ramifications beyond here, I mean, it's not gonna garner you any income, but it's precedent.
Cal?
I do agree with Glenn's sentiments on kind of that whole approach of it, of they're a pretty significant help to us. The city of Bayfield does have some, issues that they have as a burden because of us kind of existing over there, and some goodwill is really, I think, would go a long way in that relationship. I do just want to convey what I would see as, some realistic numbers, traffic that could happen. So there, again, from memory, it was about $2 a head tax. And, again, there's some question as to, is it only going one way? If we paid for 100 people got on the boat and then we went over to the island, but then we brought 200 back, do we pay for 200 or do we pay for 300? It's kind of a question that I have there. But, just to look at some, numbers, if we're talking on a busier day, it could very quickly get up to $1,000 on, if we operated out of there all day, it could get up to $1,000, depending on how that, for one day. Now, do we operate out of there more than 10 days a year? I don't know. It depends on the situation. If we had a dock go down, again, a critical dock potentially. But I do just want to throw that out there as kind of a rough, you're paying $2 per person. It depends on if it's a round trip, how they're going to credit that, but it could get, spendy quick, and that's assuming they fix that rate. If it goes up to $3 or whatever in the future.
Well, how about to address Robin's question or concern? If we ask Mr. Burrs to draft a letter to the effect that while we disagree with their interpretation of the law and aren't going to honor that, we will make a contribution to the city of Bayfield in an equal amount to what that would be.
I think that'd be a really safe bet. And I think it kind of, capitalizes on both objectives. Just again, especially if at some point they were to say $5 a person, the other boats there are charging significantly more per person than we are. So it's a smaller percentage, of our tickets, a pretty large percentage.
Right. Yeah, no. So, yeah, I would, can I make that as a motion? Is that appropriate at this point?
Yes.
What's
Yeah,
the
I guess
motion?
my motion is that we ask Miffle LLC to request Mr. Burrs to respond to the Bayfield Harbor Commission letter to the effect that we appreciate their point of view. We continue to disagree with it and would, be prepared to litigate it if it came to that. However, in the spirit of goodwill and neighborliness and acknowledgement that they do provide some services to the ferry line, that we will make a contribution to them on an annual basis equal to what would have been the $2 per head charge.
I'll second that. I don't know if technically we can do this as a motion and
Yeah,
in
it
case.
needs to be a flat amount.
Report.
I would say it needs to be a flat amount because,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay, rather than, okay.
and that's gonna be based on log sheets. And we all know log sheets aren't always exact.
Well, how about we say for now, $2,000 a year?
I think they're gonna laugh at that, but.
Yeah, but typically we haven't gone in or out of there that much.
Yeah.
And it's.
But remember, there was one Apple Fest where we operated on, I mean,
But
there's.
this was like 20 years ago.
Okay, so,
I think let's make that as a recommendation to Miffle to do that. I don't think we can take formal action
Yeah.
under Katie's report as a motion, but I would support that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still in Katie's report.
Yeah, it's not an agenda item yet.
Okay.
And I don't know, is there any point to reminding Bayfield that because of the ferry traffic that
Did they get a ton of business?
well, not only that, but it makes their dock
Eligible.
eligible for other funding because of commercial
Yeah,
traffic.
point. Good one.
Well, I think Attorney Burrs can point all of those things out in a tactful way.
The veiled thread at the end of the letter of, failure to comply may result in revocation of the Mifflin easement for the dock and ramp. And they do that. I mean, we don't have an easement, we own that.
Mayor, they say that every year because they want. They say that every time they send something, that they want passenger counts. On a daily basis, passenger counts for the dock, well, I was told by Steve Birch just ignore it. And they have, it's. They have threats in there that if you don't pay your deposit by this date, that you're gonna lose your spot, all this kind of stuff. So.
So, I mean, this hasn't been going on since they imposed this head tax, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
That tax last.
It's been longer ago than that.
thought
I think it's been at least 3 years, I would say.
Well, anyway,
And I would like to point out that our town administrator has written to Mr. Lindsay, their lawyer, pointing out that he is also the town's lawyer.
Right, exactly. A little bit of a conflict of interest here.
So,
Has Miffle paid anything in the past?
No,
Okay.
kind of put it in circular file, as they say.
Do we want to review any letter, or Stephen Burr's letter prior to it being sent out?
I think that would be great. Yeah.
Should we get it on the next agenda?
Yeah, I think so.
More questions on that? The Harbor Commission, Miffle does have a reimbursement check for us. Just Robin noticed that, health insurance and disability insurance, basically we were reimbursing for portions of that twice, both in payroll, and on our expenses. So, she's ran a report for anything that was already deducted through payroll, and has a check for us that I will pick up after this.
From January 1st or just like the last couple of months?
Nope, since we started reimbursing for payroll.
Gonna-
Okay.
Was working on the budget for this year, and I said, oh.
Thank you.
So. Budget committee meeting updates. We've had only 2 meetings so far. Just to kind of discuss real quick what we've talked about at the beginning of this last budget meeting. It was brought to our attention, kind of the concerns with how basically the fridge truck is being charged. And we kind of discussed like the process of how basically it came down to, we decided that during the tariff discussion, we should revisit 1, how much the crew hour is being charged, and 2, should there be a flat rate for that fridge truck?
In lieu of the tonnage.
In lieu of the tonnage. And just with the timing of all of that, it seems like we would kind of, if we started discussing it now, it's basically going to be the same time frame as doing any sort of other tariff adjustments that we'll be getting those discussions in the next month or so anyways. Would like to maybe propose for the next meeting, adding, just not changing any other part of the tariff, but maybe proposing a flat rate for the fridge truck to be added on to the tariff. Obviously, that's still a process. We'd have to send that in and then the 30 days. But I think that might solve a lot of issues. Obviously, we can talk more about it with Miffle as well. But just that kind of came up this morning as an option to maybe help Islanders out, and also just seems like a more realistic charge for the usage of that truck. Our next budget committee meeting is the 30th. Still to be determined whether or not Robin and Cal will be able to join us for that one. Robin has jury duty. But we're gonna still keep plugging away at it. And then hopefully have more frequent meetings with Miffle. They have the template and everything and are working on filling that in on their end, which we requested that be presented to the Harbor Commission in our meetings. Schedule committee meeting updates. Still working to get that scheduled. Cal has responded. We're trying to kind of go back and forth, waiting to hear, because I'm out of town next week. I'm hoping that maybe the week after that, we can get into more discussions with, I kind of had a whole list of things for the schedule committee meeting. So, but hopefully that will be in 2 weeks as well. That is all that I have.
With the chief administrative officer's report on file.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I
Opposed? Carries. Next up, herring shed repairs.
Oh, yeah.
No, Harbor Commission.
Oh, dang it.
Harbor Assistance.
Harbor Assistance Program project updates.
So everything's going really well. Yaqui is essentially done at this stage. So we're putting in the ramp tomorrow morning, and we're hoping to have the dock essentially complete and operational around probably Monday or Tuesday, with kind of Wednesday as a contingency. So then we'd be ready to open that up for traffic. A couple other pieces to still clean up on it, as far as some wood skirting that we need to do on the side, that we have on kind of all of our other docks. That may not be ready by, or will likely not be ready by Wednesday, but we can put up some poles to keep, people away from that area. But otherwise it would be, available for tie up and, loading and offloading. So unless there's, any questions, that's the gist of it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are we ready now to move on to herring shed repairs?
So this is in addition, the contractor estimate of $4,000 is just for the northeast side and the window. It has nothing to do with the distinctive painting estimate.
And that's just a wild ass guess on the siding around the window, because until they open it up, they don't know how far to run. So they looked at it
And distinctive painting though is just on the
on
side,
the other side.
and it's just one side of the building.
No, this thing can paint with, paint the long side facing the ferry, and then the short side facing uptown Bayfield.
The garage door is.
Right, yeah, but distinctive is so booked up, I'm trying, this fall is a no. I'm trying to get on the list next year, if somebody picks out or, we can get in, so. It's gonna happen next year.
But it's not the side with the window. The window is,
So the window has to be done now. And so our deal is right now to get somebody in there to do it.
right, but all they're gonna do is lumber and labor. They're not gonna paint.
Well, somebody's gonna have to paint the new boards they put up.
Right.
So. And typically, what, distinctive in the past has done. Would paint the boards both sides before they've been put up. I mean. But that, we'll just have to cover that with contract. But there has to be some kind of coating on them.
I like the double protection. Cal, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it'd probably be the most cost-effective solution to have, the contractor come in, replace the siding, put on a primer, and then have, the contractor that's going to be painting the rest just come back and, match that section when they do the rest of the painting. So that's probably the most cost-effective, fastest option. The same that ultimately was done with the window repair is, they put on the primer and, we're doing the white paint on the window in-house. It's just a little bit faster than having the contractor stick around, the repairing contractor stick around and paint.
Well, if that's the case, then do we,
This isn't an actual bid though. It has to get rebid.
So it sounds, just a consensus, right?
I think $14,000 for one long side and one short side is a lot of money.
I agree with Cal. I think it makes more sense to get the repair work done and have the entire building painted
Which is
at one time.
right.
And for the painting, we would have to account for it in the budget for next year.
Right.
Okay.
So we're just looking at the $4,000, the potential estimate of $4,000 just to get the northeast side window and whatever rod around the windows
Mhm.
needing to be repaired and fixed.
And that's probably 4,000 plus supplies, because I don't know what.
I think if I read correctly, you guys got 2 bids on that anyway.
I don't have to bid, they just saw it, they look at it. There's
There's
none.
been no written bids.
You've reached out, but my understanding is you've reached out to more folks, you just haven't heard back from.
No, yeah, we reached out to 5, 6, and half of them don't call you.
Well, I will make a motion that we, that Miffle move forward with the rot repairs
On the northeast side.
of the northeast side. Doesn't throw any kind of a dollar amount out.
I'll second.
Is there any?
Like, can we get some kind of written estimate before the contractor starts?
Oh,
They
that,
have to tear it apart.
Yeah, they don't get it until it's happening.
Get in and eat.
Cal?
Yeah, so that's Mary I mean, we've had a lot of people show up and look at it and we've asked for bids and it is really not so much an overall issue of people not willing to do the project as people are concerned in getting locked into a bid because they're going to open it up and there's going to be more problems or it's going to extend further. So that's where we're finding a lot more traction with, hey, okay, can you do this on a time and materials? And that's getting us a lot more traction, but that's where we're getting some of these, again, more rough numbers that aren't fixed simply because they just don't want to commit to a number without ripping the siding off and seeing, well, does this go further than we think? Is there more problems underneath? Do I have to take off the tie back, et cetera? And that's kind of the issue that we're up against because we've, like Robin has said, we've had many people in and the biggest hangup is committing to a bid with the second hangup being time, but it's in that order.
Should we add to that, like a not to exceed amount without direct authorization?
I think it's just the nature of it until we find out what the damages are.
So we had a motion and
Could maybe have a more.
When the contractor opens up and they find out that it's gonna be 10,000+, maybe just bring it to Katie's attention.
Yeah, keep us updated.
Submit an email or something.
Yeah,
at that point, there's not much you can do anyway.
Well, we're gonna be, but at least then we're aware of it.
We're aware of it.
where it's on paper.
I'm sure they would tell us that.
Yep, no problem.
So we have a motion and a second. I'll call the vote. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is accept resignation of secretary.
I don't.
I make a motion to deny.
Can't be.
Let's try.
I will, I'll open up the conversation with a sincere thank you. You've been a tremendous asset to this committee from the very beginning and you'll be missed.
I'll miss you guys. I'll try to keep up. You got so many.
That being said, I move that we accept Lauren's resignation.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I thought there'd be someone.
Oh, I'm not just abstaining.
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And enjoy you saw the plan. So now we need to appoint a new secretary. And we've had discussions with Katie, who is willing to step up to the task. And since we are statutorily bound to have a secretary position.
Did we post?
We don't, but we don't need to. I mean, we're gonna have her do it as part of her CAO job. We're not posting it as a separate job.
But Lauren's was initially posted, correct?
Yes. And so was Katie's position, actually. So we could amend job description to reflect.
Yeah, it's really a potential job description change.
Well, I'd like to throw out there that we do make Katie full-time through the end of December because it needs to be a two-person position. Especially with
Well,
life
that's item
changes.
number 10.
Life changes coming Katie's way too.
Yep.
Well, we need to officially have a secretary, so
I will move that we appoint Katie as the new secretary.
I'd like to use the word interim secretary.
I agree with that.
and I think Katie would prefer that too,
Okay.
I think.
I'll amend my motion then to interim.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Oh, go ahead.
So what's the next step? Do we just start talking to people about as a potential new secretary or?
Well, I think Katie remains secretary, and if anything, we look for a clerk, someone to run the meetings, do the minutes, and we'll let all of the outgoing communication and stuff funnel through the one point, which is Katie now. Before we had Lauren doing certain aspects, we had Katie doing certain aspects. To have that all come together, I think will be more efficient. And then we could bring in, as time dictates, someone to run the meetings, do minutes, more of a clerk position.
And then have Katie delegating as appropriate to the rest of the work.
Yeah, the secretary actually has an interesting statutory authority. And we did set up this emergency repair fund. I don't know if we have funds in it remaining, but I think we set it up at a $400,000 level. And under the statute, on the secretary's own signature, amounts up to that can be authorized for emergency repairs without it going to the Harbor Commission.
Board. Wow.
So it's got a pretty big responsibility. And I think that it would make sense for us to try to keep that in the hands of the chief administrative officer, just as a formality. And then, like Zach said, if it turns out that we need someone else to run the meeting, do the Zoom or do the minutes, that's a much lower level of responsibility position than someone that can say, okay, spend 400,000.
Good idea.
Yeah, makes sense. Katie is all right with all of that?
She's gonna let us.
Don't plan on spending 400,000.
Thank you. I was just gonna say, make sure you get her off the bank signature card before.
There you go.
So that brings us to agenda item.
Wait, did we vote?
Do we need a
To
motion?
appoint Katie as interim secretary?
There's two motions. I'm not sure that.
I'll call the vote. I thought that we did. Just before your
We
comment.
did,
We
Yeah.
did a motion and a second.
So is this interim? Are we doing interim or just
Yeah.
Interim.
interim? Okay.
Just did that.
Okay, and we did vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I know.
I can call it again if we want clarity, but.
Fine.
Which brings us then to the agenda item 10, which is changing the chief administrative officer to full-time status. Which with all the new responsibilities and along with some other accounting changes that we're making, I don't see how it could be anything other than full-time. So I'll move that we change the chief administrative officer's status to full-time employment.
Second. And that comes with the normal town benefits for full-time employees.
Good.
And I've just to underline what Zach was saying about the accounting, the town incurred significant additional audit expenses this year because the auditors had to go through and post a number of transactions to the town's accounting records relating to the operations of the ferry line. And so the plan is that Katie is going to be taught Workhorse, the accounting software, by Lizzie. And then will be on a regular basis, be entering all of those things during the year so that at the end of the year, the auditors don't need to come and spend a lot of extra money and time to do that. So I think just even on that basis alone, it's probably close to a full-time job. And I think with the secretary, even if it's just the official title, I think that warrants full-time.
So a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of bills. We'll move that we approve the bills.
Sorry, I just want to say one thing about the amount that is not this one on there.
The
for
MIFL reimbursement.
Yeah, so it would be that amount minus $911 for a bill that is in there twice.
Does that include also the,
It's actually a rand and a few cents.
I think that was just another one.
Oh, okay.
We just cleared.
What was the,
Okay.
was this the double payment on the?
Little Big Bay.
What is that?
Well, she's advertising.
The
for the fair.
advertising, yeah.
That should be the enough for you.
We pay the bills in the amount of $270,803.17, which is includes a $3,000 legal bill. Yep.
And that's the payroll and the July credit cards. That's everything.
It says various reimbursements.
It is, yes. It's August expenses, July credit card expenses, September 5th payroll, and a bill, $3,000 bill to Von Bryson.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So that will just come out of the utility checking.
Yeah.
Future agenda items.
I would like to propose that we consider opening an additional money market account at Bremer,
Old National.
be Old National, for operating reserves. Right now, we put it into our, I think it's in the debt service fund savings account. And it would, I mean, from my standpoint, I'd like to know how much of what's in the debt service fund savings account is for debt service and how much of it,
Available for us.
yeah, how much of it can we consider to be like operating reserves or emergency reserves? If, yeah, so. if we
Yeah,
could
I
put
will
that-
Would that impact, do we get a better rate with a larger sum?
I don't think so. I think it's,
No,
yeah.
it's set at a 2.4% for both of our savings accounts. I think just one like big concern that I would have with like capital projects starting back up in the fall and everything, and I'm hoping to get a list from Cal on which ones are actually gonna occur and which ones are kind of gonna float into next year, is not being able to access that money for a certain period of time without like constant, like, cause like the certificate of deposit that we did, like it was like we wanted it in that account.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking certificate of
I
deposit.
know, yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm happy to work with Katie and we'll chat with Brimmer, see if there's another account that we can put it into that maybe like there wouldn't be a very strong penalty if we did need to access it.
Oh, we don't want any penalty. No, to access it.
Okay, well, yeah, obviously.
Money market, you can take in and out.
Yeah.
anytime, but
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
That's, I think, what they're in right now. Both of them,
I know, I don't think that both of our savings are, I think this is the money market,
okay,
but they have the same,
yeah,
they verified that they have the same interest.
yeah, they have the same interest, and I think that you can withdraw without penalty anytime.
Yeah, for those. Mhm.
And so that's what we're looking is just setting up a third one that we'll call operating reserves
Okay,
to differentiate it from what we're holding to pay off
gotcha.
debt.
That's fine. Yep. And I'm happy to send out those numbers as well, because I do have that all organized as far as what is set aside specifically for our debt service.
Robin, did you?
Yeah, what the Ferry Line used for many years for the CCF money, the Capital Construction Fund, was it, I can get you a copy of like a statement, but it's a fund that has FDIC insurance. It's over $250,000, you don't have insurance if the bank goes under or something like that. And this fund was, say it had $1 million in it, it would park $249,000 in Ohio, New York, Florida, and Scottsdale, okay? And so it would have, it was two accounts together. One was a money market account, which we settle out to 10,000 every day. And then the other was the bulk of the money. And, the Ferry Line had never thought of that before, but when I talked to the accountant, you know, it's an added layer of protection.
By having,
Was it through Bremer?
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know how many of those accounts that they set up, I mean, if we were just grandfathered in, I have no idea. But I do know that, it was a way of getting that FDIC insurance. And before COVID, you were restricted to 5 movements a month, you know, interest and, taking money out, but after COVID, the banking, law changed, so it was unlimited, you know? So,
current FDIC, I think the insurance is like $250,000, right? And that's per bank, not per account.
it's per charter, and Bremer went from, you know, there was a charter of Menominee, Washburn, Bayfield, wherever, and they combined to one charter, so all our accounts were in that 250. Before, we would have money at different, banks under 250,000, so.
Anyhow, I'm only asking that it be put on a future agenda. I don't think we have to.
And I already brought that up with Katie this week, so I'll work with Bremer and Bremer to see what we can do.
Thank you.
Okay, aside from an additional bank account, you guys discussed reviewing a letter of the Bayfield tax.
Yep.
Possibly a tariff discussion or adding in a flat rate for the bridge truck usage.
Yep.
That's all I have.
All I got.
And add to it as time goes on, I guess, if anything comes up, but what do we want, when do we want to meet?
Looking ahead, weeks from today would be Thursday, October 2nd. However, I think you would be due for a Monday evening meeting if that's still something you guys are trying to do, which would be
I think we should try.
the 6th, Monday, the 6th instead of the 29th, because I know Katie's on. out of
I'll be
town.
back the 28th.
The day before, so ideally, not the 29th, but the 6th of.
At 4:30.
Sounds good.
Well, the 6th that. About October.
Oh,
And is that,
the presentation to the town, the Dave Donker's idea.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want that to be a future agenda. right?
Yeah. The townspeople,
Discussing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, not exactly.
Our Glenn and I's terms are coming up. Do we need to be appointed?
yeah,
Susie's.
what is the date?
Yeah.
At the end of October?
It's the beginning of October. It's going to be on the town board agenda for this coming Tuesday. And so I know Jay, you've let me know, but have you let Doreen know?
She just asked. I said yes.
Okay. And I think Susie said she was interested in another term, and I've indicated that I'm interested in another term. So
Phew, that covered.
we don't have, frankly, there are no other applicants at this point. So
It is fun.
mostly.
Okay.
And how long is the officer term?
2 years.
Oh, officer. Term.
Yes.
Commission.
No, I'm sorry, Zach as president. Is that
I'm
annual
not
or
sure. I think
every
it's
2 years?
annual.
I think it's annual.
After every, I think after the new, if there are new commissioners, it's like for the town board or well, town board doesn't do it that way, but it's usually after any new people have been seated.
So not after, even though it's the same 3 coming
Yeah.
back, there won't be an election of officers?
I think there would be.
There will be, okay.
We should probably add that then as an agenda.
Yeah,
as well.
that's true, because we
I mean,
will have.
I know Zach's the president. Do we have a vice president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything ever happens to us.
You're willing
Boom.
to step up.
We know who did it.
That $400,000, you probably can sign those emergency checks too then.
No, just the secretary.
That brings us then to our final public comment.
like to thank Lauren again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lauren. We're gonna miss you.
About the new venture, ventures.
Yes.
And I'd like to know what your hours are.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
Well, it's been closed every time I've tried.
Oh,
Yeah, it's true.
And if that's all, the only public comment, then let's move on to agenda item 15, which is review of the Madeline Island Ferry Line Management Contract.
We need to go into closed session. Everything.
waiting for the. Where's the?
And I have on my list to follow up with Nick.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adjourned at 9:50.
Good job.
Like fantastic.
Oh, my God, thanks.